with most things, there's really a time and a place for it. And in the situation that I'm in right now with my training and my workouts and my progress, I am at one of those times and places for some base building where I take away a little bit of the top end overreach with the intensity, drop back, focus on building up a bit of a base again, and getting some real solid volume in, uh, and having something to build off of for the next peak that I'm going to push. I managed to push that linear progress uh, about 20 weeks from my last start of a training block all the way through the meet and then up to 7 weeks afterwards. So it was quite a bit of consistent progress, and I'm going to use all of that progress now and start to shift focus again to allow myself to sort of resettle here so that I can push again further in the future. And the way that I have to personally do that is to kind of put top end regulation threshold limits on myself. And recently, a lot of my training has been in a very high intensity range with a wave, an upwards waving estimated max. So my, 80% 4 weeks ago is not as heavy as 80% now is for me, just because I've been so aggressive with that push. And I'm the kind of person who, if I'm using something like an auto regulation or an RPE system, I tend to rate everything lower so that I can push it a little bit harder. And it has been both a blessing and a curse. It definitely helps to push the progress when it's there, and it also uh, takes away a little bit of the positive that comes from regulating your volume. If I tell myself, yeah, that wasn't quite the RPE that I was telling myself I should stop at, then I would continue going past when maybe it was a better idea to slow down and let my recovery catch up. But the point is, today I capped myself at 85%, which is not a very heavy percentage for me, and or at least not recently. It's kind of a low end in terms of working percents, and so I'm really happy that I did that. It kept me from kind of going up and testing anything, and once I did 2 sets at around 85%, I was able to drop back down a little bit more without feeling disappointed in myself, just because I had set that cap and figured I can't really go past that anyway. Now I'm going to focus on improving my rep quality, making sure these are cleaner, making sure these are faster, and getting in that overall volume. It just kind of took the pressure off to not worry so much about that high top end intensity level and allow me to focus more on building the lifts and getting better, because strength is a skill, especially in powerlifting situations. It's not something that just comes across in some fully linear fashion where you get stronger by getting stronger. It's a skill that you have to practice, and the more you practice correctly, the better ingrained those motor patterns are, the better the tendencies you're going to be, and the more skillful at these lifts you become. It's just the nature of the thing. So overall, I was pretty happy with the squats. I want to say my buddy Nate was there with me for at least the squats and most of the bench pressing. Uh, he's been a good friend of mine for years, and we were lifting buddies before he graduated, a few years before I did. And super smart guy. Definitely one of the people on my short list of contacts who I will send a message to if I'm having a training thought and just can't get it out of my brain and run it past him. I respect his opinion, and he's a really good friend and a great training partner, and I miss him often. So it was good to get to visit with him a little bit and talk about life and talk about stuff and pick up all the weights. But after the squats, I did 5 working sets, which was my goal for the day. I wanted to get at least 5 working sets of triples in. I did a drop set of my pause squats, and so that was 6 working sets. Total volume was up even over the attempted the fives week that I have been doing, and the goal is to start somewhere and be able to add to it consistently each week and try to get more overall lifts and overall volume in. So I'm excited to see how I can start to progress that again. And then I moved on to my bench press. I'm trying a new grip. This is something that Matt Phelps, who I've mentioned many times before now, is the guy who I'm working a lot with the bench press on. He thinks that narrower grip will assist in protecting my shoulder uh, from all the pre-damage stuff that's been making a lot of my lockouts uneven. So you saw there those top sets of 370. I did 3 singles. I do not currently feel as strong. I moved my grip in from initially from my index finger being on the ring to now I am pinky on the ring, so that is a significant move over the course of the last few weeks. I've been inching it in every little by little and bit by bit. But currently, yeah, it was a different sensation, but I'm trusting that he knows what he's talking about, and I'm trusting my ability to progress through that. So I did 8 back-off doubles at 340. They were getting more comfortable as I went. I felt more confident with the grip. I felt more like I was getting my setup solid. But it's whenever you change any variable in what you're used to, just can offer a lot of different sensations, and adjusting to those is something that's very difficult for me to do. I like to develop a pattern and develop a consistency, and any kind of deviation from what I've grown comfortable to is potentially uncomfortable. So that is something that is kind of it's kind of a parallel to life. To really improve, you have to be at least willing to step outside your comfort zone, try some new things that will potentially help and potentially not work. You have to be willing to risk both of those outcomes with high hopes and a positive outlook, kind of aiming for the good outcome possibility there. After those 8 back-off sets, I moved on to a little bit of, I guess I call this pump work or something. It's basically just a little bit of extra volume for my upper body, very much to kind of get some blood flow to those weak areas, and just get a little extra of attention on some stuff that has been neglected for a long time. So I did 3 supersets here of dips and these supinated grip pen lay rows with the Tyler grips. Again, I don't need a lot of weight for those because the Tyler grips make it so difficult on the grip that the hands really do become a limiting factor, but at the same time I get some real good bicep and forearm activation, and my upper back still gets a little bit of love too. Afterwards I supersetted some rope pull-ups here with some ab wheel rollouts, which is pretty much my go-to core exercise, and this particular superset is something I'm going to be adding into, I think, all of my training sessions, at least in the next couple of weeks, to build up a couple of those things that I don't want to call them weaknesses, but they're things that used to be stronger because I paid more attention to them. And that is sort of the recurring theme for the last few videos that I've had, where even if you have a strength, that doesn't necessarily stay that way forever, and the strengths that you don't embrace and encourage to continue growing do not stay strengths forever. We don't exist in this system of absolute for always situations. You have to continue to put work in to even stay where you're at, and if you want to get better, you have to put in more work. So that was the session. Here's the workout write-up. Thanks again to Nate for coming and hanging out with me on this day, getting a good session in. Sorry I'm not going to be sharing all his lifts with you guys, but that's just the way things go sometimes. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and have a better understanding of what I'm doing. I hope it was in some way informative, educational, or entertaining to you, and I will talk to you all soon. Thursday is deadlifts, and it ought to be fun. So wherever you are at, I hope you are doing well and having a great night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.